Hi, this is Chuck Oliver. Welcome to this week's Hidden Wealth Review. Well, I want to talk to you about the concerns and really the timeliness of making sure you have a retirement risk plan in place, not just for today to pay less taxes and to take lesser market losses or preferably avoid them altogether, but less taxes and market losses going forward. But one loss is a fact and it's a definite because it already passed the House back in on May 23rd by an overwhelming majority with bipartisan support, surprisingly, which is what Forbes is actually calling the great tax grab or the hidden money grab under the Secure Act. And basically what's happened is a non-spouse inheritor of an IRA or a former 401k, a tax-deferred account, 403b, SEP, KEO, etc., was able to be amortized per se over the life expectancy of the non-spouse inheritor over their entire life with a forced inherited required distribution that basically spread the tax out. It's called a stretch IRA conceptually. Well, that's over, folks. It already passed the House. It's made its way to the Senate. And the House's version is our children and our grandchildren are going to get hammered with tax. With our greatest of intentions, they're going to get tax massacred because now they only have 10 years under the House's proposal to liquidate the entire inherited IRA, or under the Senate's proposal, as short as 5 years to inherit the entire IRA. And here's where that's also crucial. It also impacts inherited Roth IRAs. And some people say, well, Chuck, what's the big deal? The Roth comes out tax-free. Well, it does, but if it's forced to be liquidated, then the child or grandchild turns around and puts into something that the government gets to tax again. So they already paid the tax to get it Roth converted. Now the inheritor has to pay another tax after they're forced to take the money out. Here's where this is important. Two case studies I want to walk you through. One, under the tax grab article out of Forbes, it gave $1 million example of a traditional IRA being inherited by a 45-year-old adult, let's assume son. And based under the old rules, under the stretch IRA rules, in comparison to the new House rules, not even the extreme Senate rules of the 5-year, but the 10-year forced liquidation, sadly, by age 86 and normal male life expectancy, where under the old rules, there'd still be over $2 million remaining, there is literally zero remaining at this 45-year-old, basically 40 years later, that was with the greatest of intentions that turns into nothing, nada, as the article says. Then Reuters came out with a similar article, and my point would be, whose legacy are we planning anyway? Uncle Sam's or ours under this Secure Act, right? Retirement reforms, the article said, wants more of your tax dollars. So grandparents, listen up. In this example, it's assuming an inheriting grandchild inherits $1 million IRA, and it's earning a 7% return. And if it remained invested in only the required minimum distributions for inherited distributions under the current rules were in place, right? The grandchild would keep an extra 400 grand. But under the new rules, not even the Senate's, but the House's rules, it's a 400,000 tax increase. Folks, here's the point. The timing and shifting opportunity is here with the unknown of next year's outcome of the election. If there was a time when tax rates have never been lower and the brackets have never been greater, now is the time to save tax through timing and shifting. But be careful, because the government's setting this up as if they're doing us a favor, folks. They're doing themselves a favor. So simply take the time to learn more, especially if this is going to impact you. Like predictably, many of you listening have saved most, if not all, of the lion's share of your retirement money in tax-deferred IRAs and 401k type of accounts. You can save an amazing amount of tax. It's having a strategic tax plan. But add to the fact that many are calling for almost a guarantee of a recession to hit by before next year's election. And at worst case, they're predicting 70% odds by the end of next year, right after the election. Now's the time to protect our money, not just from taxes, but from the market's volatility. So I'll be teaching you, those of you that have an interest to learn more, be sure to discover and uncover your hidden wealth and make sure that this Secure Act doesn't create insecurity of what you worked so hard to leave as a legacy. Here's to you finding your hidden wealth.